what does Copilot Studio and PowerFX make so special in that case?
Yeah,
What would be
great
your
question.
what would be your first thing comes to your mind if someone just asks you that kind of question?
Yeah, wow. I was hoping you'd toss me some softballs, Bülent.
So
I
if
haven't thought
someone
about
if
this one. Yeah, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is it lets you, so you can use Power Effects in your, where I've mostly used it is in the responses that the Copilot is giving you. And so it lets you interact with data. So either inputs or outputs when you're working with your Copilot. So the Copilot will take inputs to do stuff. It'll have outputs, particularly if you're running a process in the background. And it lets you take those and infuse them into the response. And so you can and you can do some cool stuff like giving your bot a bit of personality. And say, for example, you've created a plugin for your Copilot that checks MSN weather, and so it takes in the temperature. It says, "Hey, give me the weather for a city," and in the response, you can say the weather for, in the input, say Auckland, and then you can say if it is, say, above 15 degrees, say you won't need a sweater. And if it's below 15 degrees, hey, you're going to need a sweater. And so it lets you just do some stuff like that gives the bot some personality and flair and just a bit of fun. That's the first thing that comes to mind is it lets you do those kinds of things.
I would say it's a brilliant answer for someone where
Yeah.
I just have surprised with that kind of question, to be very honest.
Yeah. I
So
mean, if you're not having fun, what's the point, right? So,
definitely, definitely.
yeah.
So if someone would ask me that kind of question, what makes it so special? The answer from my side in that case would be, and this is super unfair because I know that question much earlier as you, that's why I'm much more better prepared in that case,
Yeah.
is you can use a lot of that technologies. You can also use Power Automate, you can now use
Yep.
plugin actions and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff and magic. But these are, first of all, closed things. You only see what you can bring in as an input, and then you
Yep.
get something out, but you don't know the way how you do this. So
Yep.
PowerFX really is that coding in that case where you can see within your topic what this thing is really do, and you can change
Yep.
that live there. So if you get, for
Yep.
example, a plugin, or you have just to go to or have a Power Automate plugin, or you just went to
Yep.
this part of things, you just need to go out of that topic. You're somewhere
Yep.
differently. You're connecting. Here you can just
Yep.
do everything within your topic as long it does you allow you to do these things. We don't have the full capacity what we can do with Power of Apps like we used, in Canvas apps, for example.
Yep.
But hopefully we are on our way to use
Yep.
more. And we see that in the next chapter, definitely, what we can just do more.
Yeah, one
Awesome.
of the interesting things about Power FX is that you'll see that it starts kind of small, and it's like, hey, this is cool. We can use Power FX. It kind of does this, and then suddenly it does that. It's like,
Yeah.
the team is constantly working on it, and while you weren't looking, it's like, oh wow, we can do lots of stuff with it. So yeah, I would expect to see a lot more features coming in the near future.
I hope so. I hope so. When we was checking the roadmap for Copilot Studio, there was
Yep.
not so much just to see, but to be very honest, we have seen a lot of love for Copilot Studio during Microsoft Build, where you just put in a
Yep.
lot of things and brought things. And that's why maybe the roadmap looks a little bit not that exciting, but as you said,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure with Power FX, there's still something to go, and this the next thing. It's just
Oh,
here,
definitely.
suddenly there.
Yep.
Bam.
Yeah. And I think this is going to start to really gel as we see agentification. So that was announced
Yeah.
at Build. As far as I know, it hasn't been released into preview yet.
No, it hasn't. It
Correct me if I'm
hasn't.
wrong. But I think where we can start having these dynamic responses and whatnot, that's going to really start to play into how these agents are working behind the scenes and doing stuff. And so we're going to see copilots become incredibly powerful, and PowerFX is going to play a big role in that.